Okay, hello. So we got a CT Rando, aka Randall Dalton Imperial race here. If you've clicked on this, good chance you know what it is. If not, I'm going to explain a little bit. So it's a Chrono Trigger randomizer. It's newer than some of the other ones you might have seen. It's been out for nearly a year now, but we're just now starting to see people actually picking it up and playing it. The way this seat is set up, we were testing a new setting. It's essentially some new weapon pool stuff, new effects, new ways to customize your weapons. You can really get pretty detailed with it. You can force certain effects on certain items. I got some brand new ones. We're just going to see what that looks like. We got 3 racers today. We got Carnoth, Phone, and Pseudoarc. So for the settings, we got some stuff up here. Closed world. Essentially, that's like the typical way to play the game. You've got access to certain things. No flight. You do have an epoch. You can walk to different time periods. 12,000 BC, not unlocked from the beginning. And we're just going to have to explore the game, do some checks, find some key items, see if we can find our way through the game. It's an objective-based randomizer, so as we play the game, we'll do some objectives. As we fill out the objectives, we'll have more paths to the end game available to us, starting with the Black Omen. We start to gain flight, end of time, bucket access, 1999 time gauge as things progress. Multiple routes to finish the game. It just depends, what's going to be faster, what your party's ready for, what objectives are available based on the routing you've done. Things of that nature. We're going to see, who can do it the fastest, kind of solve that puzzle. So unscaled Lavos, essentially what that means, the boss at the end, Lavos, you have to fight it, all 3 phases of it. It's at its vanilla power. There's no changes to the stats. It's not scaled up or down. The script is all the same. +1 key item / recruit. So this is a scaling randomizer. Essentially, as you play the game, enemies get stronger. If you get a key item or you get a recruit, they get 1 level stronger, up to 50. Same thing for boss and objective. For each boss you kill, and for each objective you do, they will gain 3 levels, up to a maximum of 50. And 50 is the level Lavos is at as well. So they'll become stronger, more stats, also more rewards, more experience, more tech points. So there's not like a mandated order you do the dungeons in. They just get progressively harder as you keep playing. So there may be some things, that we do that maybe you wouldn't think to do in kind of a more standard game. Weapon rando, that's kind of what I was saying. We got 3 different pools set up. The first one is for the 2 best weapons on each character. There's 14 possible effects for the weapons. Each one of those is going to be on one of those weapons, with the exception of one. It's a critical chance for quad 9s. That's just going to be rare. So there will be 1 extra weapon that has one of the other 14 effects on it, with a chance of it being that quad 9, but not guaranteed. Valiant Mop, that's just to show off the Valiant effect on Chrono, because it's going to be very strong on him. If you played Final Fantasy VI, it's kind of the same idea as the Valiant Knife. The amount of HP you're missing added to your damage. It goes through defenses even. So it's pretty strong, and it's per hit. So on Chrono, for example, which, he's the one that uses the mop. If you do confuse, it'll trigger 4 times, once for each hit. That can be very strong, potentially. We're going to see if we can't get that. Then every other weapon, aside from those, they're just going to have a chance to have a random stat, random effect on them. It's weighted by the quality of the effect, so you're going to see more, low-end effects more commonly. Once in a while, you might see a good one on a weak weapon. And then we got extra checks. We put the mop the Iron Fist and the Bronze Fist in the key item pool, so we can just find them as we're kind of doing checks. Those additional checks will be the Hunting Range New, Aussie Fort, and the End of Time item once you get to the last village, where the C trigger would be normally. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start on this. We're going to see our runners setting up. So again, we've got 3 runners today. First one, Carnoth. It's in alphabetical order. That's all it is, really. He's kind of one of the early adopters. He's been playing a lot. He streams pretty frequently. 4, 5, 6 seeds a week sometimes. Really helpful guy, really friendly guy. Likes to, play some of the fun settings, entrance rando, all that. Definitely worth the watch if you see him. Phone, he's kind of the butler. He just kind of has been there the whole time, helping out. Playing a lot as well. Pseudoarc, of course, is the developer. He doesn't play a whole lot, but when he does play, he's usually pretty good at it. So we'll see how he does. So we're going to look through the objectives. Zeal Throne Boss. Save Laura's Legs, that's Desert. Giant's Claw, Epoch Boss, that's to get Flight. Forge the Masamune, do the Chrono Trial. Defeat Specchio and do the Aussie Fort. So we're going to see our runners try to do combinations of these to get to the end game. We're going to go ahead and start here. We've got a Luca start. As you can see here, we've got some custom sprites, custom palettes going on. It's all pretty easy to set that up. We got a tool for that. You can just find that in the Discord server. So it looks like Flare and Mega Bomb are going to be our capstone techs here. We've got it set up to where the techs are in order of MP cost and type, essentially. So any tech you get early on is going to cost like 1, 2, 4, 8, things like that. But as you get farther down the list, you'll find 15s, 20s. We've guaranteed at least 1 15 to 20 on each character. And if they don't have a 20, they also have at least 1 8 cost. So there's never like a bad character necessarily. So we're doing some initial routing. Carnoth going for the mayor here. Got 3 chests in it. Phone going straight to Hecarim. Pseudo going to the fair. We see Marl here. If we find a pendant, we can recruit her. Got some okay stuff in the shop. Mid tonics, heals. Some decent items. Phone picks up a white rock. It's got a shield on it. It's probably about all we're going to use that for. Carnoth heading to the forest. Possibly going to check for recruits at the prison. May even do it if there is one there. That is an objective. Might as well. So we do have enemy shuffle on here. You're pretty much going to not have any idea what you're going to find anywhere. Could be good, could be bad. Just depends, what your party is. What they're good against, what they're not. Octoblush, not a big threat, especially at low levels like this. So Carnoth also at the fair. I didn't see what the key item was. I don't know if Pseudo picked it up. That's a tool. Okay, tools. So that's, the Cyrus Grave. If we get the Masamune, we get Frog. We get access to, that continent. We can do that. Carnoth, interestingly challenging Dalton. He's kind of one of the more annoying enemies in the mini-boss pool. Which is, the fair, the first boss in Genodome, Ozzy's Fort, the Zeal Palace, and the sewers. Their respective bosses. Gato, Crawley, Fleet Plus, Super Slash, Dalton, and Atropos. Dalton, he does that counterattack burp, he does the Iron Orb, physical evasion. all pretty strong. So Phone just went through Hecarim Cave, beat Slash. So he's going to be the first to really get going. That'll give us 3 scaling levels. 1 key item will give us another. So he'll be at 5 scaling with that 1 key item he's going to pick up. Pseudo checking the burrow. So we got a Toma's Pop for Phone. We can't do much with that yet. We can turn it in, but that's it. Bent Sword for Pseudo. That's something we can do if we do like Denadoro, go through the Tata cutscene. We can go ahead and talk to him with that. He'll give us a key item. Phone actually took the boat to Chorus, which that's something you can do. We've got a flag enabled here that essentially gives you more options from the ferry than the useless one that's normally in there. You can go to Chorus. If you get the gate key, you can go to some 600 AD locations as well. Aussie Fort, Giant's Claw, 600 Chorus, all that. So it looks like Pseudo might be setting up to go ahead and turn in that bent sword there. Phone selling some stuff. Possibly sees a dream gun. Going for that. Possibly even going for the snail stop. I'm not sure yet. So because there was no character at the burrow, Pseudo was able to get that chest. If there was one there, it would require either the Hero's Medal or the Masamune to move the character out of the way. But otherwise, you can just open the chest. I've got a swallow from the Carpenter's Wife. If we find a Chrono, that'd be pretty nice. See the mid-ether there too. So Carnoth, he's in 65 million right now, possibly going after the new there. What have I done? Alright, sorry. So he's going for the hunting range. We're going to see what that new gives us. We're going to do some shopping. I see Black Rock and Silver Rock in the shop that Pseudo is at here. Can't really afford it yet. However, if we get characters that can use that stuff, it's got the right effect on it. We might just go ahead and grab those later. Pseudo just getting some chests out in the world. Phone also kind of exploring. Interestingly, nobody's gone to Cathedral yet. That's normally pretty early play, especially if you got like a Luca, very slow character. Looks like Pseudo's going for it. So the new fight at the hunting range, it cannot kill you. It's also not scaled. So it's always got 1, 2, 3, 4 HP. Always gives the same amount of experience, PP and all that. So yeah, very nice rune blade for Phone. It's got the 777's effect on it, so any attack done by that character, as long as it's based on the weapon damage, will do 777 no matter what. Very strong, goes through defenses. Kind of falls off later in the game as you start doing more damage than that, but until then, very good. So this new fight probably going to take a while, but it will get a couple techs, maybe several levels for Carnoth. It is a check as well because we added those extra checks. So Pseudo wraps up his Cathedral fight here. We're going to see Frog. So we know we've got that 777 weapon for Frog and the 1080 castle here. So that could be pretty nice for Phone. I don't think anybody's gotten it other than him yet. But Pseudo does have the Masamune, apparently. Not sure where that came from, but I think he's got it. So he's not, he's not all that upset about his frog weapon either. Phone gonna pick up some heals. Carnoth should be wrapping up the new here pretty soon. That's kind of a problem when you take the fight early. If you don't have like a really good weapon, it takes a while. Obviously it's better to kill it in one hit than to kill it in like, 12. Phone's gonna probably grab the tools here. So we got some blue scouts here on Pseudo's side. Not particularly hard early game. Their defenses are a little bit lower than they normally would be, just because they are so low level. There is a mechanic that essentially, if they're under level 10, they have no bonus physical defense whatsoever. Then it scales up to their normal amount when they get to 30. It's kind of a linear scaling there. So at 20, they're kind of still have pretty good defenses, but not like the vanilla amount. So we see a bike key at the snail stop there. So if somebody wanted to, they could go in and do, pick that up, go through the Lab 32, grab the Protodome character if there is one. So Pseudo dipped out of the cathedral. Phone's gonna go ahead and pick up that bike key. Carnoth still kind of just exploring the world, seeing what he can get. It looks like he did get the mop from the new there. He is level 9, so that fight did pay off a little bit. I don't think anybody else has gotten to level 9 yet. We'll see if he can press that advantage. So we've got the burrow decked for everybody, I believe. So Phone's heading to 600. Pseudo possibly going to the prison? We'll see. So there's no character at the prison. He's going to have Luca rescue, like whoever he goes in with. Yeah, it looks like he's swapping, possibly saving. So he's going to send Frog in. He's going to have Luca rescue Frog. And then we're going to see what the boss for the prison is. That is the first objective for anybody. In a prison, that is one you want to do fairly early. It's a 2-character check, so as you get later in the game, that boss becomes like increasingly frustrating. Especially if it's like a stupid one like Retinite or something. Mother Brain, especially. So really good, if you plan to do prison, just go ahead and do it as soon as you can. So we see a barrier on the silver rock and magic +6 on the black rock. Decent effects. If we have a good opportunity to go ahead and get them, we'll get them. But anything in the shop is also a duplicate of something that is out in the world somewhere. So there's not necessarily a need to purchase anything at the shop. It's just bonus. So maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we'll just find them naturally. Phone did find that white rock already pretty early on. So Phone also got the bent sword. Possibly going to turn it into Tata as well. Carnoth looks like he's going for the cathedral. Got a power seal and a shockwave in those chests for Pseudoarc there. So a pretty good Luca weapon. Actually, I think it's one of our 2 best, so it should have a pretty good effect on it. I think it might have been like a status or something. We got a mutant at the prison, easily dispatched. Carnoth also easily dispatches his fight. So we see a purple frog for Carnoth here. Again, just custom character palettes. Really easy to make. Just check the Discord. If you're not sure, ask. It's a very easy tool to use. Okay, so the Masamune was from Tata. Good to know. So we can kind of see scaling wise, everybody's fairly close together. Carnoth looks like he's at about a 6, Phone's at a 9. Pseudo, I believe, is at a 7. So, in terms of like enemy power, there's not a big gap between the players as of right now. Pseudo's gonna go ahead and rescue Fritz, possibly. Getting some speed tabs from the chest there, that's good. Phone also still exploring the world, the last one to actually recruit anybody. Really banking on just, you know, finding something really good before we get going. There can be times, you know, where a player does some checks pretty aggressively, early objectives, whatever. Then maybe they end up just not finding a character. They don't have any good weapons. And it starts to get a little hard. It's perhaps good to over prep if you can. You know, as long as it pays off. If it doesn't actually pay off, well, that sucks. So unlike Carnoth, Phone did not do the new yet, so he doesn't have Fire 2. This fight's going to take a little bit longer because of that. But he also didn't spend 5 minutes fighting the new, so maybe not like a big loss there. We'll see, I guess. Carnoth going up Denadoro. He's got Frog. Did he get that? He does not have the 777 weapon. So Phone, once he gets this Frog, he's going to have a pretty big power advantage for a while, unless somebody else finds it. So it kind of demonstrates, you know, that there is kind of a balance to strike between, you know, preparing and just going. If you find something really good, and like you know that Frog is going to be here, maybe you just go there quicker, but nobody knew that, so Phone pretty happy right now. His Frog doesn't look happy, but he is, I promise. So he's not going to have much trouble fighting anything for a while. So we got a Lavos spawn at the prison here. So there are 2 ways to do the prison, essentially. You can break out, you know, the standard way, or you can wait out your execution. It's a little bit faster that way, but you do miss out on, you know, some extra fights, mid-tonics, chests, and whatnot. So yeah, Silver Stud for Carnoth. Lavos spawn, pretty low level, not a big threat. So we'll see, looks like Phone's gonna do the prison as well. Definitely not going to have any trouble with that. Carnoth, we'll see what Denadoro gives us. The prison, while it was an objective, did not give us a character or a key item, just because there was no character there. So not a lot of progress aside from that. Looks like Phone might be doing the execution method. He wants to break out quick. Carnoth going for every single chest on this mountain here. So it looks like Pseudo's going to go ahead and go to the future. So we're kind of going to see like the speed of the execution scene here. Didn't get any of those chests. Didn't fight that that mutant down there. Don't have to worry about fighting those guards on the bridge or the guards breaking out of the cell. Don't have to worry about, you know, the last couple sets of guards. It's all going to be gone. No cutscene for knocking out the director. I didn't see if Pseudo actually saved Fritz or not. We're going to have to kind of roll the tape back on that and check later. I know there's a certain person that would be very upset. I think we all know who that is. So Carnoth, gonna go ahead and fight his bosses up here. So again, despite like a kind of a long cutscene, just because of the amount of encounters and rooms and stealth segments it skips, Phone's still going to break out pretty quick here. Carnoth, moving on to phase 2 of this boss. We don't know what it is yet. Pseudo's going for the Protodome character, it looks like. You can skip those by going up, and then everything else, it's just optional. We see Sunshades at lab 32, that's pretty nice. 25% damage on any attack. We got Zeal up here, which... very scary boss if you're soloing. She doesn't really do any, like, screen-wide attacks, you know, normally. You know, just single targets, drops your HP to 1. With 2 characters especially, you can just blitz her, more or less. So we do find the Chrono at the Protodome. We know the mop is at the hunting range. We'll see if anybody can make that connection, get both of them. I don't think Pseudo has done the hunting range yet, so he's not going to know about that. Carnoth easily dispatching Zeal. It's a boss where once you get her to half health, she just spams Halation twice, so if you're fast, it's not even a threatening boss. So we got a Dream Seeker for Pseudoarc. That's Chrono's ultimate weapon, like even more so than the Rainbow. Essentially, the way we have this set up, there's a 35% chance that like a high-end vanilla item upgrades to a DS item. So we know there's no Rainbow in this seed, but Dream Seeker hits harder, has a higher crit chance. So we're not going to miss it. So he's definitely feeling powerful now. Even without that 777 weapon, I think he's fine. Phone demonstrating the 777s right there. One-shots Lavo spawn here. That's where the Dream Seeker came from. It dropped from the spawn. That's pretty lucky. I don't think anybody's going to be upset to see that. Carnoth looks like he got the gate key from Denadoro. So what he can do, we got the Boats of Time flag turned on. So he can take the boat to pretty much any 680 destination. And if you notice, we do have Giant's Claw, that's one. Aussie Fort, that's another for objectives. So he has access to 3 objectives right now, assuming he gets the Thomas Pop, which was not hard to find. Pseudoarc, finding Yakra 13. Kind of feeling the wrong effects of this status on his weapon there. Luca got confused and did stop on Frog. That sucks. I'm not sure that he has any heals, but I mean the boss isn't going to take very much effort to kill. It's going to be like 3 more attacks from Chrono and it's going to be over. So we see a black rock at the trading hut. Nothing to write home about. Phone does have a very high damage frog, so this new is not going to take very long to take out. Pseudo gets through, presumably, Yakra 13 at Aris Dome here. Carnoth finds the 777 weapon, equips it immediately. Okay, Pseudo gets through there. Bosses typically in these kind of flags give about 5 levels per character, so having 2 dead characters here, he's going to be 5 levels behind on both of them. That's a little scary. Levels mean a lot in this randomizer. You know, your magic defense, your HP, your defenses, just tech damage generally. If you're, you know, significantly lower level than a boss that you're fighting, it can be very deadly. As we kind of demonstrated just now with that Yakra there, you really want to, you don't want to miss out on levels. You really want to, you know, be able to efficiently do a boss. You know, you want to hit 50 in a timely manner to fight Lavos or whatever. So we got a jerky for Pseudoarc from the Aris Dome here. Phone's got his Valiant Mop. Carnoth going for the prison, so he's going to get his first objective. Everybody's going to have prison done. So Pseudo can't do a whole lot right now in the future. he might just house warp, which is another feature. If you're on the overworld, hold start, press select, go straight home. Resets the position of your epoch, your dactyl, so you can never get soft locked from that. If you end up on an island, like from the boats or like entrance rando or something that you can't get out of, well, you can just go home. It's not a big problem. Just a feature of the randomizer. It's not like a cheat or anything. So Carnoth opted to break out. He's going to get that shockwave, the power seal, whatever else we saw here. Again, he has the 777 weapon as well, so he's not going to face any real threat from this boss. Phone following Carnoth's footsteps, going up Denadora Mountain. Everybody's kind of going along like a similar path. Pseudo took a detour to future, got Chrono. With Dreamseeker, though, probably worth the trouble. So we're gonna go ahead and turn this jerky in for Pseudo. So you'll notice on the tracker the jerky disappeared. Essentially the tracker, it tracks whether you have a jerky or not in your inventory. The reason that matters is there's 2 different jerkies in the key item pool. One for the Xenon Bridge and one for the turn in here, the Mare. So you can do one with one jerky, you can't do both. Typically we don't do bridge very much, just for the fact that it doesn't give a key item normally. We have certain setups where it does, or where it gives like a high-end piece of equipment or something, where the choice matters more, or if, say, like it's an objective and there's like a useless item that you don't really need at the jerky trade, you might make that decision as well. Or if you just need like levels at the end of the game or something. But again, there is 2 jerkies, so you can do both. It's just a question of, do you have enough jerkies to do it? Looks like Phone is also going for all the chests up here. Carnoth does get the good karma here. Lets Fritz go. Pseudo goes ahead, recruits Marl. We see Frog's best tech is water too. I didn't catch what Marl's was. He kind of scrolled through it pretty quick. So, again, Pseudo doesn't have that 777 weapon yet. He might lean into, more magic from Frog rather than, the high damage attacks. So Carnoth going for the full clear of the prison here. So coming from, say, the vanilla game or Jets of Time, might be a little strange to... Oh, we got a Shiva Edge from the Frog check here. 20 MP, crit 4x, magic plus 10. Essentially, what that means is if Chrono does an auto attack and he has at least 20 MP, it'll consume that, then it'll do a 4 times crit. Pretty strong effect. Guaranteed 4 times crit. That's often better than, what you might get from a tech or otherwise. If you're doing like Frenzy Band for counterattacks or Berserker, for the extra, damage and physical reduction, it's a pretty good option. It's good to hit very hard, very often. Anyway, yeah, chests. Coming from Jets of Time or Vanilla, it might surprise you to see people going for, every single chest as if they're, playing Chrono Sanity or something. Essentially, the reason for that, the chest pool, it's just the vanilla stuff usually. And there's no tiers to the chests, like there's no weighting applied to it. So any item can be in any chest, it doesn't matter where it's at. Essentially because, there's no predefined, like early or late game areas. You can go pretty much anywhere whenever you want to, as long as you meet the requirements. So it doesn't really make sense to, put better chests arbitrarily in one place over the other. So, you're finding these ultimate weapons, at like a truce mayor's house or something. It's normal, it's expected. That's just, kind of how the game is played. Pseudo gets through his Ekron cave here. I believe that was a Toma's pop, which he can turn it in. He can't do much with it yet. Phone will be able to. He's going to have the gate key after this fight. So we may see Phone and Carnoth start to go for more objectives. Giant's Claw, Aussie Fort especially. They both can do that. And then Pseudo, once he does Denadoro, he'll be able to do that as well. So we see the Zeal here, throws the orbs for about 48 damage on Luca. It's not going to kill her. But because Phone did come here a little bit later than Carnoth did, the boss does put up more of a fight. But not like a whole lot of a fight, thankfully. It's only level 16 right now. Looking at it, looks like Pseudoarc might have the highest level enemies right now. He's got a lot of characters. He's done some checks. Carnoth, possibly the lowest. He's just now doing his first objective. He's got like 3 key items, 2 characters. So it's all just, logical progression. Like as you check more things, the enemies get stronger. But after this check, Phone will more or less be caught up to where Pseudo's at. Carnoth, again, not super far behind now because he's got that objective, that boss, that gave him another 6 levels. We're just going to see, kind of what choices we start making here. That's going to start to matter more. Looks like Carnoth, possibly going for Aussie's Fort. He can't do Giant's Claw just because he doesn't have the pop yet. So that'll be an objective for him. It'll be a boss, an extra 6 levels on scaling when he's done with it. He is a little bit under-leveled for his scaling, but just because he's got the 777 weapon and whatnot, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Pseudo opts to actually go into the cathedral now. I don't think anybody's done that yet. We'll see. There is a character potentially there. There's potentially... So he gets a wonder shot. That's nice. It had chaos on it, I believe. So status effects, pretty good for certain encounters. Mini bosses especially. Aussie Trio. Other things like that. Pretty helpful. Regular enemies too, especially. Golem. That's another one. So Phone looks like he's setting up a whole lot of stuff. He's got the stuff he needs for the Northern Ruins check. He's setting up the Carpenter for that. So he may go for that first. Carnoth, meanwhile, finds Flea Plus at Aussie Fort. We're going to see what that means here in a minute. We'll see what the next boss is as well. So at this point, Carnoth's kind of the one aggressively pursuing the objectives. Gonna get a little bit of lead on that. No path to 12,000 just yet, but who's to say we don't get it right after this. He does have Frog. The Masamune is pretty easy to find. He does have the prerequisites for it, so he just has to basically go to Tata's house and get it. And he can go straight to 12,000, get his flight. Possibly press the advantage from there. Last village access, get you to Blackbird, get you to the North Cape Recruit. The North Cape Recruit is level 37. The Blackbird gives flight. Carnoth finding a Atropos here. When he kills her, he'll get Robo's Ribbon, plus 3 speed, plus 10 magic defense. Really, the only reason you would ever take Robo into late game is if you have that, so it's a good find, especially when you're not looking for it yet. It can be kind of a bad decision, late game to decide you want it and spend 15-20 minutes looking for it. It's good to just, have it. So, we're gonna see what Phone gets from this check here. It's not an objective, I don't believe. Doesn't look like it. But we get Seed. So Seed, if we go to Eris Dome, we kill the boss, it's one check. And if we kill the boss and then turn the Seed in, that's actually a second check. So we can do a double check there. 2 key items, 1 boss. That's a pretty good trade. We do also have the bike key. So, Phone could potentially get his Chrono here. He's got the Mop, he's got the Shiva Edge, he's got the Dream Seeker. 3 excellent weapons for 1 character. So he doesn't know it, but he has access to some pretty good stuff here. So we find some Megas, a Gloom Helm, a Haste Helm, in this Aussie Fort here. Phone and Carnoth going to be very happy to see that. A Prism Helm even. So any questions of like, where our party's power is going to come from, I guess Aussie's Fort is the answer. So we got kind of a fun thing we do in this randomizer. Aussie's Fort is the 2 mini bosses we fought plus a random boss. Kind of in the spirit, of the original Aussie Fort. Just potentially some weird combos. Some difficult, some not so much. This one's not so bad. There's nothing that's gonna instantly kill us or reduce our HP to 1 and AoE us or something. So it shouldn't be a big deal. We're gonna kind of see like the difference in scaling between the players here. They got like a 7 enemy level difference here. Pseudo, unfortunately, fighting a Leaper. That's a Giant's Claw enemy. They're pretty strong for their level. A little problematic. But we get through it. Carnoth down to just the boss here. So if we look at it, Yakra's got 4,014 HP for Carnoth. It's just like 4 or 5 turns of attacks to take him down. It's not so bad. Needle Spin, Luca's got a shield, so not super worried about that. It does hurt. He does spam it once he gets... Oh, I'm thinking of a different boss, sorry. But he doesn't spam it, so not a big threat. So we're gonna see what took Yakra's place in the cathedral here. Hopefully not nothing too crazy. So Carnoth gets through the boss as Phone is kind of moving on to the trio. Got a dragon tank at Cathedral. That's a boss where, if you get good shadow or water magic, you get good physical. It's not so big of a threat. The head has a lot of HP, it repairs damage, but it also takes extra physical damage, so any good physical is just going to be multiplied. Shouldn't be a big deal. And we do have physical damage with this party, certainly. So Phone goes for the Kamikaze here. Unless we're just all mistaken, it is slightly faster than waiting for the Imp. Unfortunately, you have to heal, but in a place like this, it's good to go out, save, shelter up. Just in case, there could always be a boss that just kills you here. No guarantees in life. Phone gonna do some equipment shuffling. Got that Haste Helm going, got the Prism Helm. Carnoth wraps up Aussie Fort for his second objective. So he's essentially caught up on scaling. He's ahead on objectives. We'll see what he does with it. So once he does get to 12,000, he can go straight to the Blackbird. He can do, the North Cape, like I said. With flight, he can do pretty much anything. I mean, he can fly anywhere, as long as he's not gated by a character or gated by a key item or something. So he's got some options. Gonna pick up the bike key, probably. So he was kind of behind on, the key items and all that, but he should be able to catch up pretty quick on that. Phone uses Hypno Wave, takes out the 2 side bosses. So if you recall, Carnoth had 4,014 HP Yakra here. Phones has 7,360, so not quite twice as strong, but basically there. Thankfully, the mini bosses are just kind of sleeping, so they're not going to contribute much to the fight here. So status, as I said, pretty important sometimes. If you know how to use it, when to use it, go ahead and do that. Alright, so Pseudo did finish his cathedral. Looks like he picked up Magus, picked up the bent hilt. Didn't choose to bring Magus in, so maybe he's just not looking that great. Maybe hasn't looked at him yet. So he is Daltonized. We got some abilities here. Let me go ahead and pause it if I can, so we can look at that. Sorry, going back just a sec. Forgive me. Okay, so Gale Slash. It's essentially Slash from Chrono, except it's based on weapon damage. It's physical. So, picture this. You're playing the vanilla game. You get like a Doomsicle. You're thinking, oh, great, a bonus attack damage on a caster. That's great. Well, it actually matters with Gale Slash because it, any weapon effect that you can have on a weapon will actually apply to that. Iron Orb drops a ball from the sky, does % damage. The amount of % is based on the cost of the tech. Looking at it, it's a pretty low cost tech, so probably not very good. But it does up to 100% of an enemy's HP at the max roll. And on bosses, it works too for 25% effectiveness. And it's current HP, so say you got 100% damage, Iron Orb, boss has 10,000. You drop the ball on them, it does 2,500. Drop a ball again, it does 750. And so on and so forth. Well, not 750, you know what I mean. It does % current HP. I don't know where I got 750 from. Wasn't thinking. Blurp. It's a non-elemental AoE. It does it applies a poison effect as well, which makes the enemy hit less hard and also take more damage. And once in a while it'll tick for like 7% of their HP. So you're fighting a particularly long boss or something that resists like the damage types you normally do. It's good to throw that on at the beginning just for the extra help. Burst ball, non-elemental damage, single target. Nothing special about it. Not super high damage or anything, but non-elemental is a pretty good property. Nothing can absorb it. Nothing can reduce it to 0. So it's good to have in a pinch, especially for certain bosses. Magus comes to mind. That's one of the big ones. I'm gonna hit play again, sorry. I just had to go through that. Alright, so Carnoth looks like he's gonna go ahead and go through the cathedral as well. Pseudo going straight to Magus's castle. when you have Magus in your party, Magus's castle actually has a shortcut where you can skip like the entire Aussie Gauntlet after the second boss. So it's a good pickup for sure, even if you're not using the character actively. Carnoth definitely putting that Wonder Shot on. Magic defense, 80% chaos. It's all pretty good. So something you may notice, just kind of looking at our characters here, Pseudo's got 5. He's, gone through, recruited everything he can. He's trying to build, the best party he can find. Carnoth and Phone are duoing, so, they're playing it a little riskier. They might not necessarily have like an optimal party. They do, however, have the 777 weapon, so maybe they don't feel like they need it. So Pseudo's going to have, more options as far as, strategy, things he can do. We do find a hero medal in the Aussie court. I didn't notice that earlier. So something good for Frog. Looks like a rolled barrier. Anyway, yeah, Pseudo. He's, his enemies are a little higher level because of all the recruits and whatnot that he's done. He's the first one to progress to 12,000. He does not, however, have 2 objectives yet. So he can do the Zeal Throne boss because he has Magus. He can open that door. So he's not necessarily doing anything wrong, not like behind or anything, but just a different path, different approach to the seed. We'll just kind of see how it all pans out. Get a good dash ring for Pseudo here. Maybe use it on Marl. We'll see. Okay, so Phone, he's got his second objective done. So Phone is level 27 with 28 scaling. It looks like Pseudo might be 27. It's kind of hard to see on his tracker. Carnoth, it looks like 23 maybe. So they're kind of coming together in terms of power. Phone looks like he went to the wrong island by accident. Oops. So we see the enemy on Pseudoarc's screen here. Pretty annoying ones. They've got very high evasion. They're from the desert. So if you don't have like strong water magic to knock them all out in one shot, it can be quite tedious. They blind you, they lock you. A little bit of a struggle fight, but we'll see how it plays out. Frog Squash did work, so they are dealt with. Shouldn't have to fight any more of them if we don't want to. Because they are late game enemies, however, they did give a lot of tech points. You just got 70 of them right there. Learned a whole bunch of dual techs, learned triple tech Arc Impulse. Unfortunately, also found the Mud Imp. Nobody's favorite boss. Very high resistances, a lot of counterattacks, very tedious. If you don't have high damage, it can be a very hard fight. Carnoth is fighting a wheel and a face at this point. He's got decent defenses, decent offense, so it shouldn't be a big deal. He's even got that Wonder Shot equipped. So the face, it might take a few turns, but it's not going to kill him. Especially critting like that. So Phone went ahead and went to the Giant's Claw. That's going to be his third objective if he can get through it. Looks like equipping a hit ring. I'm going to say he's going to go for those rubbles for sure. They do have high evasion, but if you put a hit ring on, even one extra hit can make the difference usually. Especially when they've got 475 health. Single hit will do it. It's just got to actually connect. So we got that. 94 tech points, slightly lower level than they are in the vanilla game at this point. I think they're normally 30. So, I mean, not far off by any means. So Pseudo kind of demonstrating why we hate this boss. While he does have like a really strong Dreamseeker here, the Mud Imp's physical defense is quite high. Definitely more of a magic boss if you can, you know, blitz it. Frog goes down for Pseudo. So he may change his approach here, or he may be really close to killing it, I'm not sure. We'll see. Carnoth picks up his Magus, and because, you know, he's only got the one party here, can't really, you know, choose to bench him or not. So Ice 2 and Lightning 2 are his last techs. Not great, but we do have dual techs enabled for Magus as well. So we could potentially see some good stuff. Glacier, Antipode 3, Antipode 2 kind of thing. So all very good techs. Magus, you know, high speed, high magic stat, high magic defense, not so bad. Carnoth did get through, or Pseudo did get through the Mud Imp here. So he's about halfway to fighting Magus at this point. Phone finds Nizbel 2. Thankfully, he's not level 30 scaling yet, so any magic he does, even if it's not lightning, will still reduce the defenses. If he was 30 or above, that would only be lightning. So he really doesn't even need to reduce the defenses, just because he's got the 777s. He's got strong enough magic that it doesn't matter. So we'll see if he even triggers the shock. If you don't reduce defenses 3 times, the shock does not go off. If you do it twice and just sit on it, you don't need to worry about it. So we get a Mega from the Chef Carnoth here and a full tonic. So that's pretty nice. So we'll see where Carnoth goes from here. He still hasn't found the Thomas Pop, so he can't go to Giant's Claw. He could do Magus Castle. He could go do the Zeal Throne check. So we see an interesting thing on Pseudo's side here. We got the Aussie Trio. Normally, you know, if you're coming from like Jets of Time or something, you wouldn't see this ever happen. It's not in the boss pool, but it is here. So works the same as in the vanilla game. You know, you attack one, they'll do a dual or triple tech counter. Slash has got the weakest counter attack, so typically we try to dispatch him first. Flea, however, does run very quickly after that, so you might lose a little bit of experience doing that. But if you're just trying to get through the fight, definitely an option. Speaking of getting through the fight, Phone gets through Nizbel too here. We're going to see what he gets. So Aussie Trio, fire resist is good, armor is good, status effects are good. Yeah, there's a lot of potential solutions to that puzzle. Conversely, the boss also hits very hard, so it's kind of like a race to, you know, get through it before kind of the attrition gets you, or just, you know, general bad strategy can often get you killed as well. So Carnoth, gonna go ahead and go for the Magus Castle as well. Got one more objective than Pseudo. Phone's got 3 objectives, so in terms of objectives, you know, Phone's got the lead, but he's also the one with the least progress towards the end game at the same time. So kind of unclear, like, if anybody has an advantage at this point. Phone's doing very well on levels, enemy scaling. So if he gets a path to the end game, he's probably going to be just about ready for it by the time he gets there. Pseudo gets through the Aussie Trio, so he's going to move on to Magus. Carnoth, 2 bosses away from meeting him there. So interestingly, Phone did pick up the ruby knife from that giant's claw there. If we had a reason to do it, we could go through the Ocean Palace with that. Fight the twin boss, get a bunch of levels off that. Potentially get to Last Village without the objective requirement. However, we have got that already, so it's not that big of a deal here. But also, assuming we had a good party setup for it, hard Lavos would be an option. It just depends. Can you actually do that boss or not? It's not like a complicated boss. It does like 3 attacks, but every single one of those is pretty devastating. They hit very hard for physical damage. He's got 30,000 health. He attacks very fast. He spams confused status on everybody. So it's mostly gear check, party check, consumable check. Execution not necessarily complicated. But we are capped at level 50 for our characters, so the stat requirements are kind of steep with that in mind. I'd say we're unlikely to see it, but there's always surprises. We don't necessarily have a need for the that path to the end. We've got a pretty clear one ahead of us, I think. Phone saw the Magus in the castle. He peeked it. He's definitely going for that. I'm probably going to go straight to the Magus castle after that as well. So Carnoth coming into this Mud Imp, a little bit of a different party. I'm just going to see maybe if a different strategy works better. Obviously the 777 weapon is going to make a big difference. Compared to seeing like Dreamseeker or Pseudoarc hit for like 160 damage. This is going pretty well. The burst ball from Dalton Magus also did 300, so one more hit should probably take this boss out. Yeah. So we're also seeing the Leaper fight play out for Phone. Doesn't have water magic, probably doesn't need it. Pseudo working his way through Magus. His Magus has about 13,000 health, it looked like. About twice as many stats as the vanilla version of the fight. He is like level 36 at this point. I can't really see Pseudoarc's scaling level. It's very hard to read, but probably somewhere around there for him as well. So, basic boss strategy, he changes the barrier, Frog, the Masamune reduces the defense, and you blast him with whatever magic you got. Try to get him down to 2/3 HP, at which point phase 2 starts. He drops his defenses, starts casting dark matter. I think Pseudo's got a pretty decent team, like in terms of magic defense. So, shouldn't struggle too much. Shouldn't really be a big threat. So Carnoth coming up on the Aussie trio. We'll see how he handles that. Gonna do the dragon tank, of course. He's got the same exact party setup Carnoth had, although he's much higher level than Carnoth was. Much higher enemy level as well. So, once Phone gets through the cathedral here, he'll have +3 levels from the tank, +1 from the key item in the chest here, and +1 from the Magus he's gonna recruit afterwards. So his scaling will be at 40. We're basically in the end game. Once we start reaching close to 50. So I mean, once we get through this, definitely going to Magus Castle. Gonna do what we can to prepare for Lavos. Whether that's recruiting different characters for a better strategy or finding some gear, leveling up. Knocking out that last objective or two, depending on how we want to approach it. It just depends. Carnoth and Phone, they both have the gate key, so they can access end of time once they have 4 characters. Pseudo does not. He's going to need either Robo or the gate key to do the same. We haven't seen Robo yet. We don't know where he is. But we could go through Black Omen. We could go through, Ocean Palace. We could go through, the time gauge even potentially. So Carnoth taking a different approach on the Aussie fort, or Aussie trio. Going for Flea, a little bit stronger counterattacks, but again, Slash, less chance of actually running away. So potentially more experience on the upside from that. Phone gets through his Dragon Tank. It looks like Pseudo's on phase 2 of Magus, about halfway through the fight now. The second half, thankfully, faster than the first half most of the time. So, Carnoth's going to be about 1 boss behind Pseudo, from the looks of things. Then Phone's going to be 2 bosses behind that, if you go straight to the castle here. But again, Pseudo, he might be 1 to 3 bosses ahead, but he's only got 1 objective. Carnoth might be 2 bosses ahead, but he's got 2 objectives, so they're still kind of an equalizer at play here. Just their meta progression generally. Phone's also level 39 going into the castle, so by the time he gets out, he might be pretty close to Lavos ready. Generally, if you have like a super crazy team setup with all the gear and techs you want, 40, low 40s, mid 40s, with high effort, you could get through it. Once you start reaching like mid to high 40s, as long as you got like a decent party, decent consumables, whatever, you should be able to get through it. And then, once you actually hit level 50, reasonably, most parties should be fine. Even if you've got like a gear deficiency or, bad damage or something, shouldn't be a big problem. So we'll kind of see, how this all plays out. So let's look at some objectives here. Zero Throne boss. Any one of our players, once they get through Magus, will be able to do that. We can open the door because we have Magus there. We could also open it with the charge pendant if we did find that, but we haven't yet. Save Laura's legs. We need Robo for that. Can't do that yet. Giant's Claw. With Flight, Pseudo could do that. Carnoth, if he has a Thomas Pop, he can do that. He does not have that yet. So Pseudo might actually get to that first. Epoch boss, Pseudo's almost certainly going to be the first to do that. He's got access to it. He's already through the Magus fight. He just needs to go to the Blackbird and do it. Forge the Masamune. Nobody's got a Dreamstone as of yet, so we can't do that. So we got a C trigger for Pseudoarc. Essentially, that's part 1 of the Death Peak requirements. He can go to the fair with that, do the Beckler tent, get a key item from that if he wants. There's no telling what that is until we look at it. There is a peak, thankfully. So Chrono Trial, everybody's done that already. Defeat Specchio. Currently, the only person... Well, no, nobody has like all the requirements to get to end of time yet. Pseudoarc, if he had the gate key, he's got 4 characters, he could go there. Carnoth, if he had a fourth character, he could go there. Same for phone. So we'll see if we can get a fourth character. Specchio also, pretty hard boss, especially later in the game. High damage from magic required to get through it. Very good magic defense helps a lot. Just a very, very punishing boss if you don't have the right setup for it. So we may see a play at that, we may not. It's definitely not like not the first thing anybody would go for, I think. But it is there, and people, want to do it. Aussie Port, Carnoth and Phone have done that already. Pseudo, and he can fly, he can do that too. So Pseudo now does have access to the last village. He did the Zeal Throne boss. So he's probably going to go straight there. Carnoth working his way through Magus. So Phone, going to be a few minutes behind him. Pseudo set the desert up. We can't finish it yet, but just in case, we do end up having a path to it that's available to him. So suppose we find like Robo at North Cape. At that point, Pseudo wouldn't actually need to do Specchio. He might not need to do, Aussie Fort. He could just do like Giant's Claw, Desert. Then, get to end of time through Factory and be done. So we got a Jerky at the Beckler tent. I'm gonna guess he probably doesn't go for that. We have no actual use for that. The most it would give us would be like a boss to kill. Possibly a good item, but I don't think anybody's gonna gamble that hard on that. Phone's got one more boss before Magus. Carnoth gets through. So the two of these guys, they might meet up at the Blackbird here in a minute, potentially. Pseudo's going somewhere. I would guess Blackbird, but maybe he stops by North Cape just to see if he finds like Robo or something for his end of time access. Robo, of course, matters because you need him to do Factory. Factory is one of the two main ways to get to end of time. Carnoth checking a shop here. He may go for Woe, but I don't think he's got a reason to necessarily. He might just be seeing what's for sale. Nothing great. I see a Dragon Tier, but I don't think we're gonna use that for anything. That's a DS item that gives 20% crit rate. We don't really have anything that needs it, so. So Phone demonstrating, a different path to do this Aussie fight. Puts Flea to sleep. Just gonna kill Super Slash. He shouldn't be able to counter with Flea sleeping. Pseudo checks the North Cape. There's not actually a character recruit there. Looks like he's gonna go ahead and just do the boss for the levels though, which is a fine choice. I mean, this boss you can probably kill pretty easily most of the time. Phone looks like he's actually just going straight for Aussie, eating the shadow counterattack. It might take longer potentially, but if you do take Aussie out by himself, it will kill the other two, so not necessarily a bad play. Definitely, when fighting a counterattacking enemy though, you do want to, do as few attacks as possible, so go for like the maximum damage per hit you can achieve. So that Spire there, if he does like one more of those and then like a normal attack, he'll be through the fight. Pseudo, I guess, may not have the AoE to do this boss outright, but as long as you just kill them all together, or essentially don't trigger the counterattacks, you shouldn't be in any danger there. He does trigger the counterattacks though. They do hit very, very hard. The way the boss works is when two of the parts are dead, they start counterattacking. and the counterattack does hit your entire party. So that may have been intentional on his part. He does a frog squash right after. I don't think he planned on being this low HP, but it worked out. Carnoth just does the frog flare, gets through it pretty quick. So they're kind of syncing up here. We'll see. There may be a difference of approach in the Blackbird, potentially. Phone, still working on Ozzy. I'm starting to think maybe going for Slash might have just been the answer. But he should be through it now. Should be on his last attack. So he'll be one Magus away from meeting us at the Blackbird. Now, because the Epoch boss is also an objective, if they go through the Blackbird, they finish it. They'll both be at 3 objectives, I believe. Carnoth, he could potentially do the Zeal Palace, get 4. There was no character at North Cape, so Robo's still MIA. Still looking like, you know, our quickest path to the end of time is just finding another character, doing the gate key thing. Pseudo might not be happy about that. He got all these characters, but no gate key. So we are 3 for 3 on taking the Magus Castle shortcut. Bone goes back through, gets a couple chests, saves up, heals up. So there's a few different ways to do the Blackbird, depending on how you set up your party. You can either go through, get all the chests, or you can unequip your second and third character. Equip your first one, get their stuff back, use them to get to the item chest. And then from there, just equip everybody back. It's a lot quicker that way. Looks like Carnoth might be doing the normal way. So we see a Golem and a Giga Mutant down here. That's going to be our 2 bosses. Not a great pairing of bosses, but with the parties we've got, it shouldn't be a big deal. Magic damage, water and fire especially, very important for those bosses. So Pseudo, he came in a little bit later, did the peak, invested time in that. He could potentially make up that time if he does the item box strategy. Looks like Carnoth again is doing just the normal one. Phone makes it to Magus. So it looks like Pseudo may have intended to do the item box thing, but he unequipped his first character, so he's not very strong. It happens. It's a tricky maneuver for sure. Carnoth gets a good skip there. Carnoth even going for his money, so he's gonna spend like the max amount of time in here possible, potentially. Especially if he does some extra grinding. We'll see. So Pseudo, he'll be in and out pretty quick, probably. So because Phone came in significantly later, he's got a very, very strong Magus here, level 46. Could be approaching, upwards of 20, 25, 30,000 HP on this boss. But again, you only need to get it to 2/3 before the defenses are lowered. Which they might have been just now, I'm not sure. I was not paying attention. Yes, okay. So Phone's wrapping this up pretty quick, it's like. Pseudo gonna demonstrate the item chest technique here. Again, he came in later than Carnoth did. He checked the boss. He knows what he's up against. He can strategize. And despite, all of that extra time, he made it all up with this play here. So there is a vanilla bug. I believe it's still in play here, where for every piece of equipment that you don't have equipped, you gain additional magic resistance, not magic defense, and I think plus 10 magic power or something. So you could potentially especially like if you know what the bosses are going to be here, play around that. Like if you know you don't need physical defense for any reason, maybe you really want that extra magic power. It could be worth it. So Pseudo looks like he's going to do like his late game prep, grinding on these turrets here. They're essentially just frickin' rebels with frickin' laser beams on their head. So pretty good experience, good tech points. You can really fill out like the end of your tech tree. But he just kills one, goes for the boss. We got a Giga Mutant. Again, Golem is going to be on the Epoch. So pretty magic oriented. Foam is going to follow them pretty quick here. He's got his 12,000 now. Again, Pseudo demonstrating just the power of the Atom Chest method. It's significantly faster. Carnoth playing it a little bit safe. He's probably going to go save here, heal up. You know, can't really sleep on that as a strategy either. You know, if you die here, it's a very big setback. You could lose 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just depending on how much prep you did. Getting a little bit lost, it looks like. I can't blame him for that. It is a very confusing dungeon. It's going to give our other runners, you know, a little bit of a chance to get a lead on him. So, Giga Mutant, you know, just an annoying boss. Every attack you do encounters with, you know, sucking your MP. Got very high physical defense and also for some reason high magic defense, so you can't really like just one-shot him. Really gotta work through it. And it is a slog. So Carnoth, not gonna fight any turrets. He's now, you know, on the same boss as Pseudo. So catching up a little bit, just because of the amount of time it took to do this boss. Foam doing some last second shopping. One valid strategy for Blackbird, because you don't get your money back if you don't, you know, get the chest. You just spend all your money at the shop, and then not have to worry about it. So he picks up a Nova armor. That's pretty good. Looks like he sold the 777 weapon at a Vigil hat. So mostly, you know, with an eye towards doing Lavos, getting our, you know, full confused immunity, general, you know, status immunity. So he's pretty well prepped. He just needs to get to the boss and actually fight it. He's pretty close level-wise as well, so it's all just a matter of, you know, how long it takes to get there at this point. Sorry about that. So it looks like we're kind of coming together a little bit. Carnoth and Pseudo once again on the same boss, the Golem. With their party composition, again, it's not going to be a hard boss. Foam with that objective advantage, he's going to go ahead and get 4 here from the throne boss. He'll be one objective away from the time gauge if he wants to go for that. Because the Epoch is one of those objectives, he will get the time gauge once he gets flight. So he can just go straight to Lagos from Blackbird. Instead of shopping already, he's pretty well suited up. Interestingly, Crawley does take extra shadow damage. So Antipode 3 or whatever that was he used, one-shot him pretty quick. So we'll see, kind of what the Blackbird approach is for phone. If he does what Pseudo did, if he has like a little bit more magic damage, he could potentially, get through it pretty quick. But he is going to do all the extra checks, did the new scratch point even. So Carnoth gets through the Golem. Pseudo probably right behind him. So kind of interesting to see, different party comps. Luca, Magus got through the bosses a lot quicker than Marl, Frog, and Chrono did. So he's got that Dream Seeker, but maybe not the best choice for Giga Mutant, unfortunately. Just having that extra magic power would have made a big difference, I'm sure. But he gets through it. So Pseudo's got flight. He's got, I believe, 3 objectives. He needs to do 1 more. So Ozzy Fort, Giant's Claw. That'd put him at 4. He would still need to find like Gate Key, Robo, something to get to End of Time, or just potentially, do another objective, do the time gauge. Bones headed to Last Village, Carnoth, kind of doing the opposite of what the others did and going to Zeal after getting flight. Nothing wrong with that. Potentially faster, just flying straight to the Skygate you need. See how it goes. So Pseudo doing the Sun Palace boss. I don't think it's an objective, but it's potentially a key item that could lead to one. It's a quick check, single boss. Get some levels, get some drops maybe. So Carnoth again demonstrating the shadow damage on Crawley, doing a lot. Probably one-shots it. Yes, okay. So drops the Crisis Arm, so if we ever did find a Robo, pretty lucrative. Bone's gonna check the North Cape. No character, of course. Resets out. He could have just one-shot the boss, but I guess he just didn't want to spend the time on it. So we're gonna see what Phone cooks up here. Again, he just needs like a single objective to get the time gauge, or potentially recruit Robo, just depending on how things play out. Looks like he's going for he might not even go for flight at all. He might just get the character from Protodome and go through End of Time. 4 characters plus Gate Key. He's got the objectives he needs for the bucket. So interesting play, demonstrating you can route things differently, and they might actually look out better than what the more possibly intuitive path might be. A lot of people would say I should get flight. It's gonna open things up for me. That's like the obvious logical way to get through the seed, but just look at what your objectives are, look at what's available to you, see if you can't figure out is there maybe a better way. Now we do know as the viewer, of course, that there's sunshades here. We know that Chrono's at Protodome. So we know this will be a good play. Obviously our runners don't. You know, it's just the way things are sometimes. So depending on what Carnoth does here, you know, he might do like the gosh, I guess he can't do the Giant's Claw. So he's kind of thinking, you know, can I get another objective, another character, something that'll get me to the end game. So phone, he did find Dreamseeker, he did find Mop, he found that Shiva Edge on Denadoro. Chrono's a pretty good pickup here. May drop Frog, may drop Luca because she's slow. You know, got some options. But we also have Go mode for phone officially. Technically, the Ruby Knife and Magus and 12,000 access was also a Go mode, but again, because Hard Lavos is hard, you know, maybe not the best option. Pseudo, gonna go ahead and do the Giant's Claw here. You know, I think that puts him at 4, but he still doesn't have end of time access. No gate key, no robo. But he would still need a 5th one to do the time gauge. You know, there is also the possibility of just doing Omen, but at this point in the run, maybe that's just not on the table, really. So Carnoth, following Phone's footsteps, he did have Flight, so he got there a little bit quicker. Still a little bit later than Phone did, but you know, the power of Flight is substantial, to be sure. So Phone, going to the end of time, he's level 47. Carnoth also level 47. So a little bit lower than like a typical player might be going into this. I'm definitely gonna, you know, plan out our defenses, our weapons setup and whatnot. You know, just see if we can put something together that really makes it good. So Phone goes for it. We're gonna have to fight all 3 phases just because we didn't crash through the shell. Pseudo goes for Ozzy Fort. That should be his last objective, I believe. That will get him the time gauge. So while, you know, he does have that entire dungeon in front of him, quite possibly, you know, by the time he gets out of Ozzy Fort, he'll be level 50. He'll skip the first phase of the fight. You know, if things go sideways for Phone or Carnoth or whatever, he's not out of the running yet. That's going to be a pretty close race, all things considered, I think. So I believe Phone put the Mop on, so we're going to see a demonstration of, you know, the Valiant effect. Typically the Mop, it's got like 0 attack power, so any damage it is doing is because of the Valiant effect. Any health he's missing is just going to get added into every confused attack. I do believe Phone has immunity on every character, so not necessarily worried about status effects in the first 2 fights. If you kill the arms together, they can't take off your immunity. Carnoth right behind Phone. Possibly. Okay, yeah, Carnoth right behind Phone. So, one phase behind. You know, anything could happen if you have, you know, a specific strategy that maybe just works better, or, you know, particularly bad RNG, whether it's, you know, bananas or you know, phases on Lavos 3, status effects, or Grand Dream or Dreamstone or whatever. Whatever that rock attack is called, I forget. Grand Stone, that's right. Get everything mixed up. So, interestingly, phone opts for the Shiva Edge for Phase 2. That's the one that had the 20 MP, 4 times crit. So maybe we're feeling like, you know, either we're gonna try this and see what happens, or maybe it looks like Magus had the haste helm, so we might just lean into like magic damage more. Utilize that Shiva Edge, you know, for some consistent fast damage output without like a long animation associated with it. But we'll see what happens. The mop would be pretty good for this fight. The only, of course, problem would be that you have to be low HP for it to work, so it is a bit risky. Nipple lasers being vanilla, you do want very high magic defense to get through it. 80 plus is recommended. Phone attacks the face, it doesn't go well, but he has 6 megas, so maybe just leaning into like a safer strategy as opposed to risking it with the Valiant mop. So the arms, the left arm has about 8,000, the right arm has 12. So if you know that you're doing 4,000 to the right arm with single target attacks, they should go down together. It shouldn't take the status off your characters. So he's done 3,000 to it. One more hit would put them about even. Antipote 3, it's gonna, you know, chew through the arms pretty quick. Did about 3,900, so this Ice 2 will put the left arm in one-shot range. Then the right arm with one attack should also be either dead or in one-shot range. Alright, so nipple lasers on Carnoth's side. Did about 400 to phone, 800 to Chrono here, so his Chrono, maybe less magic defense, whether intentional or whatever. He might be doing the Valiant strategy. So it looks like that's the plan, yeah. So doing about 3,200 to the face, despite the shield. Chrono does go down, demonstrating, you know, it is kind of an inherently risky strategy. But Revive, you know, puts him at 50. As long as he doesn't get hit, he'll be able to do 3,200 to the face again. Meanwhile, Phone, working through the second phase. Again, a bit of a safer strategy. Not necessarily as strong offensively, but you know, if you wipe, it doesn't really matter how fast you're going, right? That's not to say Carnoth will wipe, but, you know, risk is risk. So similar approaches aside from like Mop versus Shiva Edge for our runners here. Carnoth makes it to phase 2, so he seems to be catching up a little bit. All the early damage to the face will make the phase 2 shorter. So, you know, pretty close, all things considered. Again, Chrono goes down. He can revive here, but the poison's going to go out immediately, so he may just wait for that. Phone gets to phase 3. So we do have the menu glitch here. It's not free, so you gotta, you know, hit the frame window pretty well. You know, not a lot of people playing this know the timing very well. Pseudo, I'm sure, does. Carnoth, he hits it sometimes, but he hasn't really studied the timing on it yet, so he may do a different approach. He may use like a mega right before the end of the second phase instead of going into the menu. Possibly, you know, a faster strategy to do that anyway compared to going into the menu, but something to watch out for. Pseudo getting close to the end of his Aussie fort. That should give him his time gauge, which will take him straight to phase 2 of Lavos. So, you know, if either one of these runners wipes, you know, he's right up there with them. So, Phone switching to the mop, potentially dissatisfied with the Shiva Edge as a strategy. Carnoth, right there with him. If he skips this menu, he's, you know, gonna be straight to the boss. It's gonna be pretty close. You know, one bad cycle from the boss on either side could decide this. Thankfully for Phone, the Millennial Fair one, it's a status effect. He's got all his status protect online still. So once that defense goes down, he's gonna be slapping the boss pretty hard. Got that Antidote 3, he's got the mop. Chrono's at about half health. Alright, so now that we're in the damaging phase, we're gonna see a lot of attacks going out from Phone. May just keep the middle bit up since we're not on a scary phase yet. Even this one, Evil Star, you're not going to die from it, just half HP to your party. Because the other bit's already down, you know, nothing's really going to kill you immediately afterwards. So we can kind of really pile in some damage here. Middle bit goes down, but not for very long, of course. Carnoth, he's going into the fight with 50 HP on Chrono. You know, really wrecked that left bit there. Unfortunately, it's lightning to the face, so that's going to slow him down a little. Again, thankfully, all the runners have, you know, a lot of megas, so not really like a whole lot of danger here. Phone trying to lean into like the half HP Valiant. Hasn't really had an opportunity to use the full potential of it this fight. May not need to. As long as he can keep the bits down like that, there shouldn't be like a whole lot of trouble. Right bit's already down below 10,000 after this attack. So unless something goes completely horribly wrong here, should be cleaning this up pretty quick. Another, I don't know, turn or so. Carnoth, of course, piling a lot of damage into the right bit as well, so he'll be, you know, right behind him. We do see a Crying Heavens. Thankfully, he goes out on Magus, who dies with -1 HP. Status going down. You hate to see it. The right bit is still vulnerable though, so you may be able to just kill him outright here in a second. So not quite, but he should be like very low. That might do it right there. And Carnoth, again, he's not far behind. So we got a time of 1:34.18 for Phone. He clutches it. Pretty close race. You know, considering the different routes we took, not a bad finish at all. I guess the main divergence, Carnoth never saw Giant's Claw, ended up going through Blackbird. Had he done like a faster Blackbird strategy, he could have very well won outright. You know, he did go for like the full clear, getting all the money, you know, getting all the chests and stuff. Potentially costly, but you know, all things considered, you know, still a very good time, excellent race. You know, it's never a bad day when you got, you know, 2 runners on the last boss at the same time. It's a pretty good watch. So we do have an ending selector. in this randomizer as well. Owen has it set to
And
random.
that's it. That'll be it.
So he got the What the Prophet Seeks ending. One of the better vanilla ones for sure. We got Carnoth finishing 135.43. So again, like,
135.46.
less than
All right,
90 seconds difference.
GG.
You know,
Thank you.
any one minor routing decision, you know, the
Okay.
Blackbird
That race went not too bad. I like the settings. It did get kind of crazy
going through
with what you could do. There was a lot of different ways you could
pop from
do this.
Hecarim Cave, which
See,
Foam
this is
did
more normal.
in
I
like
show
the
up
first
just
2
in time
minutes
for
of the
levels
run.
today. And Euro, you missed
Carnoth
all the
done
fun
even that.
weapon rando stuff.
You know, it could have worked out for him. But that's, you know, that's just how it is. It's a randomizer. Sometimes the decisions you make don't play out the way you want them to. Even so, I mean, it was very good for both of them. Even Pseudo.
Oh man. Hopefully I don't mess up
his routing didn't necessarily you know lead to the right objectives at the right time. Had he gone up Denadoro, found the gate key, I'm sure he'd be rolling credits right now too. It was very well executed by everybody.
Was that the command? Oh no,
any one of them certainly could have won.
I forgot what the command was to finish the async.
So we will see Pseudo get through this Nizbel too. He's gonna go fight his Lavos
on this spot.
Probably finish within the next 15 minutes or so. So Carnoth, of course, opting for the regular ending.
I put it in the Discord. All right, but we did.
Yeah, we do love our
135. That's
what you call it,
a reasonable time. Again, like having that
the faraway times, I think,
available for Chrono is just overpowered. So it is kind of like nice. So this new effect, the new effect Valiant that was implemented into Rando.
You can see Kino actually has a custom palette too. It's kind of a quirk. He uses the same palette Ayla uses.
But,
so even though we didn't see her, we can kind of see
versus your
max
what, HP minus your current HP
what
and adds
Ayla would have looked like,
to it,
more or less.
Defense, so it's pretty good.
It's a pretty nice color scheme. Of course, the Prophet being Magus on phone screen also had a different color. Little quirks like that. They're pretty fun. Some other ones, the pendant uses Marl's palette. I want to say Gaspar uses either Magus or Robo. I want to say Robo.
All right.
His palette. Just cute little things like that. The save points,
guys,
if you noticed,
I beat somebody.
they were kind of funky colored as well.
I gotta see Pseudo's run now because like Pseudo's run was a 153. We did a 135.
If you give Robo like red eyes, save points will be red.
Interesting. I wonder if
that was kind of an interesting thing to find out.
Final Fantasy 6. Yeah, it's
normally
so cool,
Robo's
right?
got like the blue and white eyes.
Phone's obsession with
are also that, of course,
with his Umaro with Valiant Knife.
So we're gonna go ahead and let Carnoth, talk over me. I'm gonna
now if we can get
just
like something
watch this.
Like
I'm sure it's kind of annoying listening to two people talking at once.
Proc Luminaire or something crazy like that.
We'll listen to his song,
right?
and kind of go from there.
Have a weapon proc a spell.
We'll just watch Pseudo
have, like,
play out.
A Lumina in here too. All right. We finished our race, guys. So that was going to be it for today. I was thinking about doing a second one, but I did a lot of running around today and worked, and I'm feeling tired. But yeah, feel free to look over this race if you guys, or look over this because it was a lot of fun. Weapon Rando, it newly implemented. Tons of great potential here, having, you know, a pool of random stats that could be put onto something, a pool of random effects
Of
that could
course,
be
now
put
is a
onto
good
any weapon
opportunity to see some
at
pallets
any time, and combination, of the two.
before they go into the
You just
portal,
want Berserk
disappear
Frog
forever.
to chuck Magus into the enemy wars. Yes, that would be hilarious. Equip on frog and equip on a frog. We should have an accessory like that, right? But yeah, let's see. Tomorrow might be another CT rando, but we'll see. We'll see how we're doing, because it'll be. I'm trying to think what we're doing Friday. But anyway, tomorrow is up in the air a little bit. Maybe we do some more Expedition 33 just for funsies. And it's getting close to Christmas too, so for those of you that celebrate Christmas. But as always, we're gonna leave our stream to faraway times. And phone will always, have me commentating in the background if I went over time, so he gets to deal with the VOD stuff. But yeah, thanks guys for joining up. Once we get to faraway times, you'll see me disappear, but I'll still be in the chat. We'll get in. I'll be in the background, GG. Thank you, Vic. I knew taking Lavos at level 47 wasn't just like I had to. There was just no choice because and finding the things I did, I was like, no, I gotta do it. I gotta do Magus. I gotta do all those things. Yeah. Have a good night, Vic. But yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow for whether it be CT Rando, Expedition 33. I think those are my two choices I'm thinking of. So yeah. But as we close, nice work. Thank you, Apocalypse Pals. Oh yeah, phone would be remiss if I did not say like, comment, subscribe. Right? So I have to say that. Anyways, I love to leave it nice and cheesy. We are literally at the end of the end, guys. I'm gonna just say it. And I hope you guys have a great week. Should be a short week for hopefully those that are working. If you're not and you're working retail, or somewhere else that works on Christmas.
All right, so once again, that's CT Rando, aka Rando Dalton Imperial. You can find the site ctrando.com. It's got links to the Discord. You can create seeds there. We've also got guides on Discord. There's also a new player's guide linked from the website. You can learn to play there. My channel, of course, has a lot of videos of us playing, some races, some single runs. Carnoth also on YouTube. You can search him. He's got plenty of videos. He's a lot better at talking his way through a run than I am. Mostly because I very rarely talk. It's kind of a new thing I'm trying. I didn't have a working microphone for years and years, and it figures as soon as I get it, I also get like laryngitis and can barely talk. But we're getting better. We should be up to speed, hopefully within a few days. Should be able to do some more of these. It's always a lovely way to end a run. It's a nice song. So we're gonna do a little tone shift here. We're gonna play the music for the final boss for Pseudo here. So a little bit of a different party for Pseudo. He's got the Frog, got the Marl, got the Chrono. I'm not sure. He might have found the mop. I guess we'll see. He didn't get the menu glitch also, so probably gonna open with like a mega potentially. So we got a haste on Chrono. Leap slash going onto the left bit. I'm gonna try to take it out real fast. Thankfully, pretty lucky. Got that status effect as the opener. Sorry. No full status protect for Pseudo. Frog gets confused. So not as clean of an opening. The left bit's still going to go down here. But again, thankfully, the Magus one is not a threatening effect, especially when the left bit's already down. Gotta do something about that confused, though. Oh, it should be gone now. So core defense going down. It looks like Pseudo's got the mop. So should see some valiant action. He's got haste. The boss shouldn't take very long to take down with that in mind. Gonna use ice to get the middle bit down, confuse on the right bit, probably. Just gonna throw some chairs at him. So pretty good, about 3,000 damage per confuse going out. Looks like still leaning into kind of the dual techs as well. It's a pretty strong ice sword. So, depending on how aggressive he is, he might be able to finish this in a single round. Kind of a riskier play. The bits should be coming back up pretty soon. Yeah. It's kind of one of those things where, as soon as the defenses go down, you really want to be ready to let everything rip. Any turns spent buffing, recovering, it's just gonna reduce your ability to, damage the boss safely. That is, you can always do it unsafely, but generally not recommended. So we are in the future phase. That's dreamless. He doesn't have a bad magic defense party. Chrono and Frog, kind of middle of the road. Marl's got good magic defense. However, he is pretty low on HP. So if that attack does go out, it may kill him outright. Let's just hope that doesn't happen. Like I said, he should be able to kill the boss very quickly with the setup he's got. Thankfully, Crying Heaven's going on to Marl. She should be fine, probably barely. It was a close one. But, high magic defense, even the strongest of spells can be stopped. So the left bit's down. There should be no problem. Just continuing to attack the right bit. Generally, when Lavos does a lightning, he does another lightning right after. Same thing for the slaps. Both of those, they typically come in pairs. So if he slaps once, usually going to slap twice. If he slaps 3 times, he's going to slap 4 times. So just something to be ready for. Depending on what your character is, certain defensive status, barrier, shield, might save you from a one-shot. And those healing loops, they can get very frustrating. So the less one-shots, the better in terms of your ability to efficiently fight the boss. So he gets it down, 153.46. All right, we're going to call it there. I hope everybody had fun. Again, ctrando.com. Definitely could use some more players. Even, just casually playing. We don't need to race everybody, but, it's good to have more people playing, contributing ideas and whatnot. We hope to see you there.